Welcome to Australia, where we arguably have some of the most incredible and breathtaking remote places in the whole world. And a lot of these places you can pull up your caravan or your tent and almost camp for free. But something strange and unusual is happening. It's a phenomenon that's now called ghost camping. Now, I'm not talking about a ghost story, which I actually do love them. We're talking about places that are booked out and it's like a ghost town. This topic of ghost camping is something that I've wanted to discuss for quite some time, but it's becoming more and more publicised, and even 9 News did a segment on it recently. Because of the rise of it, we really do need to get the word out and talk more about it, because we can't have this happening. So campsites are fully booked out online, yet when you actually look at these campsites or when people go past, it's like a ghost town. Like there's no one there.
Campground in Kosciuszko National Park. I just want to point out a problem with the booking system. Basically, this is number 19. I think there's more than 20 sites here, and only 1 in 5 actually has someone in them, but the whole place is booked out.
And at one of these places in Wilson Promontory recently, there was about 10% of the campsite used, but it was fully booked out. And this is a common occurrence all around Australia. So I initially thought it was just people booking and being rude by not cancelling and not showing up. But it seems like there's a few more sinister ideas at play. We'll watch this little clip from 9 News and get their perspective on what has just recently happened.
And down here at Wilson's Promontory at the very iconic Tidal River camping ground should be heaving with families at this time of year. But as you can see behind me, it's resembling a bit of a ghost town. Lots of these campsites sitting vacant. Now, this is all as a result of the government's free camping scheme that it rolled out at the end of last year. Many people down here are telling me that clearly campers either not showing up at all or, in some extreme cases, booking an entire month to secure a spot without any consequences. I've spoken to some people who are down here at the moment. They say they've never seen it so quiet.
Welcome to ghost camping, a growing issue that's quietly locking out Australians from their own national parks and their own recreational areas that they have paid for. People that are wanting to get out in the great outdoors and they're trying to plan their trips months in advance only to get online and find that every single campsite is booked out. But when you go there, dozens, if not most of the campsites are fully vacant and people have just not shown up. And the campsite is sitting there completely empty. Ghost camping. This is not only just annoying, but it's gatekeeping some of the most amazing and beautiful places in the whole of Australia for regular Aussies to be able to enjoy. I recently made a video about this and I put it on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook.
Got a term for it. It's called ghost camping. Basically what's been happening, and this is something that we saw when we were traveling as well, is that people book the sites and then they just don't show up. But apparently in Victoria, they've actually got even the free camps that you have to book your site for free, and people are booking for like months in advance and for months at a time and then just not showing up.
Campers either not showing up at all or
Bloody
in some
empty.
extreme cases booking an entire month to secure a spot without any
If you're not going to show up, just cancel your booking. Why would you book a whole month if you're not going to go? I feel so bad for these families. They've probably been going there forever and they're just like first come, first served, which is what camping used to be. You know, if you turned up late, you didn't get your spot. You have to go there really early and get the best spot. Like, that was the fun of it.
It's fully booked out and there's no one here, basically. We're in the middle of school holidays. It's 30 degrees and half the sites are empty.
Empty.
Because people are booking them in advance.
And some of the reactions I got were actually mind-blowing. I had no idea that some of these conspiracy theories were running around, and what some stories I have heard, like, crazy.
Yes, it's interesting the comments that I've got and some of the theories. One of them is like this, where Mark has suggested that maybe someone's booked a site and then they've booked 3 sites around them, so they've got no neighbours. There's been other ones that I've seen as well where people have said they reckon it's the locals not wanting tourists to come, which is really sad because that also affects the businesses in the area. Like if there's a business or a cafe that's relying on those tourists and they're not coming because it's all booked out, then they miss out on that revenue and then therefore may have to close down. There are a few other conspiracy theories as well that I haven't mentioned, I don't have time to.
Theories that just would not have even crossed my mind because I just didn't think people could be so rude. So what someone had said, do you reckon it's the locals to cut down from visitors? Which I thought, oh my gosh, maybe it is. Someone had said as well that on Bribie Island, that apparently there was a thing going around that a lot of the locals who lived there would actually book all the sites over the holiday periods so they wouldn't have all the tourists come. But then someone else said, no, it's definitely not the looks because less visitors in peak season means that local businesses struggle. So they're relying on the extra trade, and lots of local in South Gippsland are frustrated because we can't even get campsites ourselves and utilise our own local areas. So they're obviously having that trouble as well, where it's not the locals. They're saying Gippsland, it's not the locals because they want to camp and they can't even get campsites. So they're obviously having that trouble there as well. And then another person said on that thread, local rural people love visitors and they love working in tourism. These places are friends of the town. In these places are friends in the town folk who want to see them. They don't want to see them losing business. So, of course, in small little towns, everyone does know each other and they're really disappointed if it's a quiet season because their local butcher might have all this meat, but then no one's buying because no one's showing up because they think the sites are all booked out. Another one said, it's not the locals, it's the activists. And this is where the theories start to go a little bit insane. Not really insane, but something that I never even thought of. It's probably the government who's booking them out. Here's another lady who said, we had to do this recently. We paid for a site in the national park and there was no option to cancel. It was so annoying. I didn't care about the money, but I wanted to free up the camp for someone else, which is great. So it's funny that they don't allow that. And I also noticed that it's just not easy. I know along the Ningaloo, you could cancel, but they wouldn't give you a refund anyway. So people would just not worry about it. Another person said, does anyone even know of someone that does this? I highly doubt it. It's camping holiday makers behind it. Comes across as being deliberately done. Keeping the homeless away, is that a possible motive? And another people said, oh, so I could book one site and then book 5 campsites around me. So I have this big area and no neighbours. What a horrible thing to do. Like, that's part of the fun, chatting to your neighbours, getting to know them. I mean, some people are dicks, but others are actually really fun. We've met some amazing people camping. Here's one about Bribie Island. It happens in Bribie Island in Queensland. Those who don't want us camping there book all the sites out every single year. So 4x4 and camping is limited on the beach. Here we go. Here's one. It's an ingenious move by the government to stop camping. They are the ones that are booking the sites. Can nobody else see this? They want stuff closed down. Second to that, caravan parks nearby also want us to camp there and camp their sites, and that way we'll be forced to use their caravan parks. So in other words, caravan parks are dirty on the national parks for taking all the campers that want a budget camp, but they want to charge $75 a night instead. Interesting. An interesting theory. Another one, there's lots that have said it's people choosing campsites, like picking 5 campsites, having no one next to them. But I also heard of this happening on the Ningaloo where a rich lady came, well, she might have been wealthy, I don't know, but didn't care about how much it cost and booked 8 sites so that she could choose which one she wanted to stay at when she got there. And obviously then those 8, there was 7 other families that missed out on going because they'd booked, that's one site that they decided to choose to sleep on. Does that make sense? Here's another theory. Kevin said government is booking them out and then dishing out fines for people camping in other places. I have had a lot of people also on here say, well, who cares? Just go and squat on those campsites if they haven't shown up, which I think that's a fair point. How can they say, well, I've already booked this. My mate booked this for me. I don't know. This is another one. It's a green or teal scam to keep the numbers down, with local governments knowing to keep the places deserted so that there's no one in these national parks or in these reserves. And that's a common theory that I've had, and people DMing me that as well, that they're saying that it's the governments and the local Greens and the nature people that are actually booking out these sites because they don't want people camping there. How crazy. It is just so disappointing, because if a family actually wants to get out there and enjoy nature and get the kids off their phones, get out there doing activities, teaching the kids how to fish, teaching them how to 4-wheel drive, you know, get them out on their motorbikes, barbecuing, lighting fires, like safe fires. Obviously, there are some bad campers, we know that, but majority of people are out there trying to do the right thing. It just really bugs me that this kind of thing can happen, and it worries me what our future's going to look like. It worries me what the future's going to look like for our kids when they want to go camping. Like, there is no point going camping and being slotted into a little spot in a caravan park and not really getting out there and enjoying nature and being at one with it and setting up your campsite and having the neighbors next to you that you meet. Like, that is what camping is all about. And it's disappointing to hear that this kind of thing might be happening. Anyway, who cares what I think? Tell me in the comments. Let's talk about it. And I want to hear your feedback and if you've experienced anything like this. And thanks for watching. If you like this kind of video and you enjoy traveling, I've just moved to North Queensland in Whitsundays, and I'll be sharing more of my life on this channel. So if you're interested in that and you're interested in some of the best campsites that I'll be sharing with you as well, please give me a like and a follow, and I'll meet you in the comments.